All right, it's Friday, March 1st. So this is a morning SPY update about an hour into trading. You can see here on the daily chart so far after 1 hour, price has held the midpoint of the prior day, moved up and hit our weekly target that I've been talking about all week long. You can see here on the weekly chart after that last week's green bar high and not really moving lower too much to start the week. We eventually turn up and we hit that weekly target to the upside. In terms of the intraday structure, you had the first bar kind of coming up, pausing a little bit, inside bar on bar 2, and then a nice buy signal here if you're trading the SPY on bar 3 to not only take out that first bar high, but then to hit this target, and now we're heading up. So targets have been reached. It's a directional day at the moment to the upside with a kind of a stop at the midway point of that first bar. Now, there's a long way to go in the day and anything could happen here. And I just kind of wanted to start that thought process. Right now, if you're in, on a day trade or, even a bigger picture trade, if you were buying, swing trading down here to the long side, fine. You're still in, you have gains, and it's, there's no real risk involved. But now you have to watch closely for structure to see if it continues into, if you look at the weekly chart and spread it out, we've had all these green weeks up, 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 up. This week is taking out that weekly high, but if you look at it, if we don't get too much of a directional push today, this is turning into a small little bar that's losing a little momentum. That started happening in this zone as well and started a 2 down eventually. Now this one was just a 1 week pullback that continued up. The next one might be a much deeper one. We have, targets down here. So it's something to keep in mind. And again, this day might fail at this point since all targets have reached. So, if you're in here, let's say it's a day trade, keep that in mind. You have the open of the month right here now, which is the open of today. So if that all of a sudden kind of reached, it took out the monthly high of last month and then comes back through that open, you have so far the month of March could be red at the moment. So it could be a big failure unfolding, but we'll watch for that. I'm not predicting it necessarily. I just know how to watch price action at this point to see what happens. But in terms of at least this week, everything worked out where we kind of had a 2 down day to start the week, but we couldn't reach his target, and eventually things turned up to take out that target. Now that we're there, you got to be pretty careful about, watching what happens, and just know that if we have a failure here below this intraday low and we get below the open, all of a sudden the month of March, which starts out green just for, an hour, could start red a little bit. And who knows, day by day, if it's going to start working to the midpoint of that bar and maybe getting a 3 bar to the downside. Again, not predicting all that, but I'm looking for, I'm monitoring for potential failures. Maybe that's the way to put it. So today's failure would be, to come back through the midpoint of that first bar, head lower. We have pre-market lows down here. If we get down there, then we're coming below the midpoint of the prior day. And the whole thing could be a bad start to the month of March. That said, at the moment, it's a directional day to the upside. We'll see if it continues higher. We'll see if it holds the midpoint of that first bar. I'll do a recap at the end of the day to see where things end up. But, if you were buying it, at least temporarily, there was a trade here to kind of get to that target and set up a no-risk scenario. So we'll see where this day ends up, and we'll see if this weekly chart ends up being a nice, strong green bar, that wants to at least probe higher into next week, or is this going to be just a small little failure bar maybe? And if we get a 2 down week, maybe that starts some, negative price action to keep, and again, we will monitor the open of the month, which is right here, and as long as if we get below there and stay below there, then we're going to be, buys to the downside until that eventually changes. But anyway, a whole bunch of things to talk about. So I just thought I'd give a morning update here, and we'll see where the SPY goes for the rest of the day.